Hello everybody, and thank you so much for watching part 2 of the Tunisian fusion poncho. In part 1 we created 4 squares that we will now stitch together. We will use this beautiful stitch to stitch them together. We will also create a neckline, and it is done also in Tunisian crocheting. And we will create a border around the bottom of our poncho. Now we will put 3 of the 4 squares together. This is my front part. I picked a nice square, my favorite square, and then we will stitch it together, going along the side, the corners, and then along this side. Place your first square right side up, right side facing you, and then place the 2 shoulder parts, this one and that one, also right side up. Place the first shoulder piece so the seam is going together, and then place the other shoulder part so this seam is going together. And we will start crocheting on the right side along here and then around this way. I will connect both of these squares only through the top loops, the top loop on the bottom square and the top loop on the top square. Start with the second chain in the corner of the bottom square, pull your yarn through. Then go into the second chain of the top part, but not from the bottom to the top, but from the top to the bottom through the second chain. Make sure the yarn is underneath. Make a slip stitch and pull tight. Then go to your second stitch, top loop on the bottom square, and then we just make a regular slip stitch. And then the top again, and this time again through the top loop. Make sure your yarn is on the bottom and pull through. Then again through the top stitch of the bottom square, make a regular slip stitch, and then go again through the next stitch, the top loop. Leave your yarn down there and make a slip stitch. Make a slip stitch into the bottom, and there's a slip stitch into the top as well, but we're going always from the top to the bottom this way. And I do that all the way until I get to this corner, and I will show you how to do the corner part. So this is how it looks from the right side, and this is how it looks from the wrong side. It's kind of a zigzag pattern, and here on this side it looks kind of like a tire tread pattern. I reached my corners. I will make one more slip stitch into the bottom piece. It's the double crochet, and on top into the next stitch, then into the first chain into the bottom piece, and into the first chain of the top piece. Then into the second chain, and just pull through. And now I will go and take my next piece, and I will go just like I started on the other side, on the edge. I will go into the second chain into this piece from the top down again. Let me show you again. So here's the second chain. Go from the top down into the second chain and pull your yarn through, and then continue along with the stitch on this seam. So here are our two squares, the seam we just made, and now we will go along on this side. Now we will make the bottom part again, a slip stitch into the top loop and the top again, and go into the next stitch, grab the top loop and go again down this way, and then just continue on every stitch. This is how the connection looks. And let me turn it over to the other side. This is how it looks from the wrong side. And then continue and make this all the way until you're finished and those two corners are connected with the second chain. And at the end of my seam, I'm going through the first chain on both pieces, the top part and the second chain, and also here this top part, the second chain. I finished my seam. Now I will turn my poncho over and do the same thing on the other side. Turn your poncho over. Now the left side is facing you. Then fold the left shoulder to the middle, and then fold the right shoulder part to the middle. Place your last square over this square here. Also right side up. Everything is right side up. And now you can repeat the stitch we did on the other side. It's exactly the same on this side. Start on the right. Work your way up the sides. Connect the corners. And then work your way along the left side. Now all we have to do is make a trim around the neckline and around the outer parts of our poncho, and I will start in the corner right here. That's where we start the border. To make the bottom border, I'm starting in the corner, and I will go into the first double crochet right after the corner and pull my yarn through. Then I will make 3 chains, 1, 2, 3 for the double crochet and 2 more for the chain space. Then skip 2 stitches and make a double crochet. Chain 2, skip 2 stitches, make a double crochet. Chain 2, skip 2 stitches and make a double crochet, and do that all the way till we get to the chain spaces. I've created 19 chain spaces, and your last double crochet should be over the last double crochet here. Now I made 2 chains, and I make my next double crochet right next to our seam, and I'm grabbing 2 threads to make it more sturdy. So I have 2 threads and I'm pulling through, then chain 2, and then go to the left of the seam and also grab 2 pieces of threads right here so it's a little bit more sturdy. Double crochet and 2 chains, and then we will repeat 19 more chain spaces. Go into the first double crochet, make a double crochet, 2 chains, and then again skip 2 stitches, make a double crochet, chain 2, skip 2 stitches, make a double crochet, and then when you get to the next section here, repeat it. To the left and the right of the seam, make the 2 double crochets with the chain spaces of 2 in between. I've made 3 chain spaces over my seam, 1, 2, 3, and then again over my last square, 19 chain spaces. Now I chain 2 and make my last double crochet over the last double crochet before the corner. Chain 2, into the corner, make a double crochet, chain 2, and into the corner make another double crochet, chain 2, and then repeat on the other side the same thing we did on this side. Double crochet into the first double crochet, chain 2, skip 2 and make a double crochet, chain 2, skip 2, and make a double crochet. Then when you get to the seam, we will make the same thing we did on the other side, a double crochet to the left and to the right of the seam with chain spaces of 2 in between, and over our square we will have 19 chain spaces. I'm in my second corner. I made my last double crochet over this one right before the corner. I chain 2, make a double crochet into the corner, chain 2, make another double crochet into the corner, and now to finish this round I make a half double crochet into the third chain, make a half double crochet into the third chain, and start the next round. If you want to double check yourself and count all the chain spaces that we made, it's 132 chain spaces all the way around. To start the new round, I will chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and make a single crochet into the next chain space, chain 5, make a single crochet into the next chain space, chain 5, and make a single crochet in the next chain space, and go all the way around and do that. And into the corner as well, chain 5 and make a single crochet. We don't increase in the corners, just go around and make the chain spaces of 5 all around. I'm finishing my last corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chains, and then I will make a slip stitch into the first chain and pull my pink yarn through. I chain 3 for the first double crochet, 1, 2, 3, and then into the chain space I will make 6 more double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we will have 7 double crochet. Then I go into the next chain space, make a single crochet, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go into the next chain space, make a single crochet, and then repeat, go into the next chain space and make 7 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Go to the next chain space, make a single crochet, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go to the next chain space, make a single crochet, and then repeat 7 double crochet into the next chain space. So 7 double crochet, next chain space, single crochet, chain 5, next chain space, single crochet, and then double crochet 7 into the chain space, and I will meet you at the corner. I reached my corner and made 7 double crochet into the same chain space. Here's my corner space where we made the 2 doubles into the same chain space, and then here the 2 chain spaces. I make a single crochet into the next chain space, and instead of 5, because this is our corner right here of the poncho with the 2 chain spaces, I make 6 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have a little bit more room to bend around the corner. Then into the next chain space, a single, and I continue with my pattern. I make the 7 double crochets into the next chain space, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then into the next chain space, the single crochet, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a single crochet into the next chain space, and then restart the 7 double crochet into the same chain space and continue with the same pattern that we did on the other side. Remember to make a chain of 6, not 5, for the corner and a single crochet. And then a slip stitch into the 1, 2, 3 into the 3rd chain, and I cut my yarn. Now I will pick up the other color, and we will make 5 back post treble crochet. Skip the first double, so that's our chain, we skip it, and go into the 2nd double crochet from the back to the front, and from the front to the back, and pull your other color through. So you can see right here where you pulled it through. Then make 4 chains for the treble, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 more chain for the chain space. Now make 4 more back post treble. Make 1 into the next double, back to the front, front to the back around the next double crochet, and make a treble. Chain 1, move to the next double, back to the front, front to the back, and make the treble. Chain 1, another back post treble into the next double, and the last one make a chain, and the last one we will make 5 back post treble. We always skip the first and the last double crochet, chain 2, move to the chain space and make a single crochet, chain 2, and then repeat the 5 back post treble, skip the first double and go into the second, go around the second, double crochet, make the back post treble, chain 1, 2, chain 1, 3, chain 1, 4, chain 1, 5, chain 2, single crochet into the chain space and chain 2, and then restart, skip the first double and make 5 back post treble crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the chain in between, chain 2, single crochet, chain 2. I reached my first corner space where we made 6 chains, and instead of 2 chains that we make 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 for the corner, and then into the chain space of 6 the single crochet and 1, 2, 3, 4, and then continue your pattern. Skip the first double crochet and make 5 trebles with the chains, and then do on this side the same thing as you did on the other side. At the end of this round, I reached my corner space, and I will make 4 chains again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and in the chain space a single crochet and 4 chains, and a slip stitch into the 4th chain, and I can cut my yarn. Now we will start our last round with the pink yarn. Here's the tail where we just finished. Count 1, 2, 3, 4 trebles. Between the 4th and the 5th treble, pull the pink yarn through and make a chain. Then into the same space make a single crochet and another second single crochet into the same space. Then we have our 2 chain spaces here. Make 3 single crochet into each. 1, 2, and 3 in the first space, and then 3 single crochet into the second. 1, 2, and 3. And also between the first and the second treble, make 2 single crochet. Then make 8 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and turn your work clockwise. Here was our first single crochet that we made, and our second. Make a slip stitch into the first single crochet, and then turn your work counterclockwise back to where you had it. Now make 5 single crochets around the chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now make a 4 chain picot. 1, 2, 3, 4 chains, and then where you see the 2 legs down looks like an arrow that goes up, make a slip stitch through all 3 loops. Then make 5 single crochet into the chains again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we work our way again between the first and the second treble And then we're going back to make this pattern again. Between every treble, make 2 single crochets. 1, 2, move to the next chain space and make 2 single crochet. The next chain space, and now where the chain of 2 is, we make 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and into this chain space also 3. 1, 2, 3, and then we're almost there between the first and the second treble. 1 and 2 singles. Now we have to make the chain again with the picot. So make 8 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Turn your work clockwise, and the slip stitch is made between the 4th and the 5th treble. So here's, I guess on the other side we could say it's the first one that you see here and the second one, and it's the first single crochet we made, so it's this one. Here's the second one, and we slip into this one. So when you see those 2 trebles right here, the first trebles, it's the one to the right. Make a slip stitch and turn your work back counterclockwise. Then make 5 single crochets around the chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make the picot. Single crochet 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 around the chain, and then continue with 2 single crochets in the chain spaces of 1, 'When you get to the 2 chains, make 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3, and the second time. 3, and here's our first chain space between the first and the second treble. 2 singles, 8 chains, turn your work clockwise. Here's the first treble, the second, go into the first, the left of the 2 singles, make the slip stitch. Turn your work back around counterclockwise, and then single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 chains, picot, 5 single crochet around the chain, and then continue with the 2 single crochet. 2 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 2 single crochet in the chain spaces of 2, 3 single crochets and 3 singles. Then again 2 singles. On the second single, make the chain of 8, turn your work, and go into the first single crochet between the 4th and the 5th, make the slip stitch, turn the work again, make 5 singles, the picot with the 5 chains and the slip stitch, and then again 5 single crochet. And I show you when we get to the corner how to do the corner. Now I'm at the larger corner spaces here, And I will make 5 single crochets into each space. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 single crochets into the second chain space. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 singles between the first and the second treble. Now I make 6 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Turn my work clockwise, and I make a double crochet right above the single crochet here. Make the double crochet. Then 6 more chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then a slip stitch where we always make it. Here's the first treble, the second, and into the second single crochet to the left. Make the slip stitch, turn the work back over. Now make 7 single crochets into the chain space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then for the picot, 4 chains, and I make the picot a little differently. 1, 2, 3, 4 chains for the picot, and now instead of slip stitching, we're making a single crochet. Go through the 2 legs and make a single crochet. Then make 7 single crochets into the other chain space of 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and now we continue with our regular pattern. 2 single crochets into every chain space, and then the 3 singles here and here, then 2 singles here, the chain of 8 across to the second single crochet between the 4th and the 5th, and then we just repeat what we did on this side, exactly the same thing. And then when we get to the last corner, the second corner, we will repeat this pattern again. I finished my second corner and I did it exactly the same way as the first one. And now I will finish this round. I make 2 more single crochets into the next chain space, then 1 more single crochet into the next chain space, and then I pull the yarn through and I threaded a needle and I pull through the first and the second loop, and I can take my hook out, and then I go through the first single crochet that we made and back down into that loop where the yarn is coming out of, and then I can just tie everything together in the back. And now we'll start making the neckline. So I turned my poncho, here's my neckline, and for the last round I will use the Tunisian hook one more time. Here was the chain space, and I'm going into the second double crochet. Here's the first double crochet, here's the second double crochet. I'm going into the top loop and I'm pulling the pink yarn through. Then I chain 2, 1, 2, and now I will make my double crochets, pull through, then pull through 2 loops, then 2 loops on the hook, then again go through all of the top loops, 3 loops on the hook, and so on. And then when you have a few on the hook, turn your work over and I pull my secondary color through again. Pull it through the first loop and then always through 2 loops, and then turn your work back around and continue. do that all the way until you get to the next chain spaces. I reached my corner with the 2 spaces. I have to make 1 more double crochet into the last double crochet, top loop, and now I make 2 puff stitches into the chain spaces with 5 yarn overs. Yarn over 1 time, go into the chain space, pull a long loop, yarn over 2nd time, pull the yarn through the chain space, 3, 4, 5. Then pull through all of the loops except for the last one, and then pull through both loops. Then go into the next chain space and repeat the puff stitch yarn over once, pull long 2 times, 3, 4, and 5. Pull through all loops except the yarn over, then pull through the last loop and the yarn over, and then continue right along. Go into the first double crochet into the back loop and continue until you reach the next chain spaces. When you turn your work over, keep that secondary color really tight so we have a nice tight stitching on top of the neckline. Make the double crochet into the last top loop of the double crochet right before the chain space. Then a puff stitch with 5 yarn overs, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Pull through all the loops except the yarn over. Then pull through the first loop and the yarn over. Move to the next chain space and repeat the puff stitch with 5 yarn overs. So we skip over that seam, go into the puff stitch, into the chain space. So I have my first yarn over, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then pull through all the loops except the yarn over and pull through both. And then continue, make the double crochet into the first double crochet into the back loop. Turn your work and again keep your work kind of tight. Pull through the loops, make sure the yarn is tight. Pull your secondary color through until you have 2 loops left on the hook and turn your work over. I threaded a needle and now I can take my hook out of the 2 loops. And from the back to the front I'm going to the pink first and then the dark color. Go through both loops. Then go again through the pink loop from the front to the back and through the pink loop here. That's the first, the chain of 3, that's the 3rd chain we made. And then where we came out of with the yarn, right here where the 2 pink yarns go into, I go through that. And you can pull all your pieces of yarn tied. And that is the neckline of our poncho. And if you like, you can add tassels. I cut 4 pieces of yarn and I go through my picot from the bottom to the top and pull my tassels through. And then I pull through the loop.